What's going on, Flix Talkers? This is David and welcome back to Flix Talk Podcast. Now I'm back with another movie review, this time for Jordan Peele's sophomore release of Us, which came out March 22nd, 2019 and has a runtime of 1 hour and 56 minutes. Now Us does star Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, Elizabeth Moss, Tim Heidecker, Shahadi Joseph, and Evan Alex.
What are you people?
It's us.
Now, the quick synopsis for this film is, a family's serenity turns to chaos when a group of doppelgangers begins to terrorize them. Now that kind of just skims over the surface of what this movie's about. But before I get into this movie, guys, make sure you guys smash that like button and hit that subscribe and bell notification to get notified about movie news and movie reviews. All right, let's go on to the review. Now, just on a side note, Us pulled in a whopping over 70 million, 71 million to be exact, in 3 days. Compare that to Get Out, Jordan Peele's first release, with a $33 million 3-day weekend. All right, now before I start, guys, with this review, I'm gonna let you guys know it's a spoiler-free review, so no spoilers or hints whatsoever, other than what's already been discussed in the trailer. So Us starts out with the introduction to the whole family. We get to see the father, the mother, the daughter, and the young son. And it looks like they're all going on an outing to Santa Cruz, California, which is just a couple hours north of me. So that was really cool to see the coast. And we get to find out that this is not really just a typical family vacation, because Santa Cruz in particular holds a deep, dark secret for Lupita Nyong'o's character. So we get a little more in depth with that and a couple of flashbacks. But pretty much on their first day at the cabin that they're staying at, we kind of get this home invasion situation where these people show up to their door. They don't know who they are, but it just turns into a home invasion situation, guys, where they're introduced to these characters who they find out later that are their doppelgangers. So they're trying to get away from their alters, they're trying to get away from their evil selves, pretty much is what it is, and they're trying to figure out the events of how this conspired and what's going on, because there is kind of a bigger picture. Now, I know it's a little mind-boggling. I don't want to get into too much about the film, guys, because it is something you really got to see and kind of interpret for yourself. So I'll just let that be said. Now, creepiness aside, this is not a horror movie, guys. This is more of a home invasion movie with a couple of gore elements thrown in there, a couple people getting stabbed here and there. So if you guys are squeamish about blood, maybe stay away from this, but it's not anything too extreme, especially for today's standards. So I definitely got to recommend it for the thriller, drama, horror fans, all right? Now, I'll start off with my likes for this movie. Definitely the cast, and in particular Lupita Nyong'o. Now, I heard that the Academy does not honor horror films, but they really have to acknowledge her performance in this movie, because it is, bar none, phenomenal. Now, I know we saw her in Black Panther, we saw her in a couple other movies previous. This one, she definitely shines and stands out. She definitely plays that overprotective motherly figure, but when push comes to shove, she's there to kick ass, along the way. So it's really cool to see this strong mother and her kind of two sides come into play when shit goes down. Now, second were the kids. I really genuinely believed that these were two kids in kind of a modern world. I mean, you have the youngest, who's very, very innocent. It shows him playing with sandcastles. He's just very, very at a young age where he's kind of to himself, but he also likes to have fun. And he's kind of the wanderer of the group. He wanders off on the beach. He kind of figures out, who the family is before the rest of the family figures out who these people are. So he definitely seems like the brains of the group when the shit hits the fan. And of course, we have the other child, the daughter, who looks maybe about 12, 13, 14 years old, and she's definitely like into her phone and in the social, she doesn't want to be there, is pretty much what it is. And definitely shows in this role. And I haven't seen these two kids at all whatsoever, so I can definitely see them performing in other roles like this in the near future. And probably my least favorite character was Winston Duke, M'Baku, who I love from Black Panther, but in this movie, I know his character is more written for the dad role, with dad jokes, and there's a scene right at the beginning where he just walks out of the car and he hits a dab like that, and he goes, hey, what about this? What about that? And it's just so awkward and cringy, but I guess it's for his character, And of course, he's like all proud about getting this cheap ass bow that's called Crawdaddy. Crawdaddy! So we get to see that. So we get to see a lot of dad jokes and kind of like awkward, weird humor. He kind of reminds me of like a guy that's really book smart, but not street smart. Like you could tell he's never really gotten to a hardcore altercation, especially when he comes out and he says, if you guys want to get crazy, we can get crazy. That part was so stupid and off-putting and cringy, but it really kind of fit his character though, as far as someone that's kind of the weaker one in the group.
He's kidding, right?
He's not kidding.
Because we end up finding out that Lupita Nyong'o's character is kind of the strongest one in the group. All right, another huge like in this movie, and I have to kind of bring it back to Get Out, was the composer. The whole music of this film, just like in Get Out, was phenomenal. I mean, of course you had songs like I Got Five on it. You had a couple other compositions in the film that are popular songs, but you also had a lot of orchestra and score going on to kind of build the tension or just really freak you out. Especially at the beginning, guys, there's a pan out scene of a bunch of rabbits with this eerie ass choir music behind it. I didn't know what the hell I was in for when I started hearing that. And last but not least was the overall story of what was going on with these doppelgangers and clones and government experiments and stuff like that. So it's definitely something that you're gonna have to kind of shut off your mind to reality and just kind of get focused and tune with the subject matter, because I started thinking after a while, you know what, this could possibly happen, especially with the disclaimer that we get in the beginning of the film saying that there are thousands of miles of underground tunnels in America that are kind of uncharted and unused. So it really got you thinking, what's down there? What could possibly be down there? So I'll just leave it at that. No more spoilers, guys. All right, I promise. So let's jump to my dislikes. So what were my dislikes? None. Zero. I had absolutely no dislikes for this movie. It's its own standalone movie, and that's something that kind of bothered me when I left the theater. Is I heard a couple of guys talking saying like, oh, do you think this is better than Get Out? And you can't even compare the two, and I think people need to stop doing that. Yes, it's his second movie. Yes, it's a success. He's just a great ass writer and director and producer, by the way. So you guys just need to acknowledge that, and it's great as a standalone. That being said, what is my final score for Us? If I gotta give Get Out a 10 out of 10, this is definitely getting a 9 out of 10, a solid 9 out of 10, and a 10 out of 10 for Lupita Nyong'o's performance once again, guys. You gotta see it for her performance alone, especially as her alter, the creepy ass doppelganger. Holy shit. For a second, I thought it was a different person because of how different she was to the mother. Ridiculously great acting, guys. So check this one out if you guys can in theaters, please. Dolby Digital. I'm definitely gonna pick this one up on 4K when it comes up. All right, guys, what were your thoughts? It's raked in a boatload of cash, like I said. Were you one that contributed to over $70 million this past weekend? Let me know in the comments below. Like I said before, guys, give this video a thumbs up if you guys did like it, and make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe and bell notification if you aren't already and you like content like this. All right, guys, till next time, I'm gone. And by the way, later this week I'll have a spoiler talk podcast in full on this channel, where I'm going to kind of dive deep and talk with a special guest who also saw this movie last week, and we're going to pick each other's brains apart and try to pick this movie apart because it is insane, guys. So definitely look forward to that one when I upload it on this channel, guys. All right, thank you guys so much for checking out this review. Until next time, I'm gone. Peace.